A woman went to the bathroom late at night and connected to her husband's video call. However, after saying just a few words, she claimed she had something to do and hung up the call. The next moment, a black man walked in. Worried that her husband might suspect her, she asked the man to drive her home. During the ride, her husband kept calling, but she didn't answer, fearing the truth would be revealed. They arrived at the gas station, and she went into the convenience store to buy coffee. However, she didn't see any staff inside. She placed the money on the counter and prepared to leave, but suddenly noticed that the shelves in front of her were covered in blood. The woman felt a surge of fear and turned to leave, but a gunshot rang out, hitting her arm. She fell to the ground in pain. Before she could react, another bullet pierced the glass, narrowly missing her. The woman realized the attacker was determined to kill her. She hid behind the shelves and shouted the black man's name, but he was wearing headphones and unaware of what was happening inside. The woman had no choice but to try to save herself. She tore off her clothes to bandage her wound, then cautiously peered out. Another gunshot nearly took her life. The woman dared not take any more risks. She tried to grab the phone nearby to call for help, but the bullet knocked the phone even further away. The woman was desperate. A man's voice came from the cash register, and she immediately looked over, discovering it was a walkie-talkie, but it was some distance from the cash register. She picked up a bag of chips and threw it into the air to distract the killer, then grabbed the walkie-talkie and asked for help to call the police. She didn't have time to say more. Signal interference caused the walkie-talkie to malfunction. At that moment, the black man walked in looking for the woman, but the next second, he was shot dead. The woman trembled in fear. She used a soda can to knock over the mob, which hooked the walkie-talkie. The person on the other end, upon learning of the woman's ordeal, said they had already called the police. They then asked who the black man was to her. The woman, terrified, dropped the walkie-talkie. The person on the other end was the killer himself. She noticed a switch on the wall. If she turned off the lights, the killer wouldn't be able to hit her accurately. She grabbed an item from the shelf to smash the switch but failed repeatedly. The woman grew frustrated and accidentally pushed the shelf, discovering it could move. She immediately crawled down, unlocked the wheels, and hid behind the shelf while moving toward the power switch. The killer began firing wildly, but eventually the woman turned off the lights, plunging the convenience store into darkness, and the killer ceased firing.